The thing I remember first when we talk about Mchugh was dog sitting during Brian's wedding. Everyone was heading down to Chambersburg, and someone had to stay with the dog, and I actually felt quite honored that Bob had asked me to do that. I don't think he'd ever really left the dog before with anyone. Mchugh had a mind of his own, and basically Bob had informed me, given me explicit instructions when he was to be fed, where we were to walk him, almost down to drawing maps, I would think. And Mchugh had a mind of his own and wanted to go on the trail, which was forbidden. So when I took Mchugh for the first walk, we got down on the back street, and of course he wanted to go into the woods, and he tried to pull there. And I said, no way. And he gave me this look over his shoulder that was just full of expression. But when he saw I wasn't budging, he finally turned around and came out. But he was a dog, who would obviously try to test limits if he could. The other funny thing about that situation was Bob must have called 10 times. And I couldn't help wondering if he called that much when he was away and the kids were small. I can remember once or twice Miriam and Roseanne catching him at calling me and actually taking the phone off of him. So he was always so dedicated to Mchugh. But I also think about other times when I had babysat, and Mchugh loved to torment the beagle on the back street. I had to laugh to myself every time we'd start a walk. That's the first place he would go. And that poor beagle would be tied out, and Mchugh would just walk ever so slowly with just this expression of knowing that he was tormenting this poor dog. He'd choose to do his business back there all the time, I think just because the dog was going crazy. We once tried, most recently, to take our dog over, thinking wouldn't it be nice if we could get them to be friends. And Lee came with me, and we tried to walk the dogs together on the trail. Mchugh was the perfect gentleman. He was more than willing to be friends with Bailey. He was even going to put up with this noisy little white fur ball, but Bailey would have none of it. And Mchugh was ever so tolerant with all of Bailey's bad manners. He would just give him a glance every now and then as we walked on opposite sides of the trail. Needless to say, we didn't try that again. Mchugh just had such presence and personality. He was a gentleman. He just had such dignity. He moved about so gracefully for a large dog. I was always amazed that he had never swung that tail, which he would do in greeting, but that tail had never knocked off any of Miriam's Lennox. I was astounded that none of those accidents had happened, or that he would be at parties and in, of course, his own tuxedo as his coloring a red, and he would go right up to the tables with the food and stand there and look at it and let you know that this is what he was interested in and not touch anything. He was just so well-mannered, so well-bred. He just was such a gentleman, and those are my most cherished memories of Mchugh. I truly appreciated. I would walk in, and we had forged a bond, I think, and I would walk in, and he would come to greet me, tail wagging. I'd get to give him hugs and kisses, and he's just wonderful. I think he was